Okay, here we are. Good afternoon. This is Minka Dishola here again. And today, I said we'll be discussing how you can use cashew plantation as a retirement plan. I'm going to start I grow vegetables, yeah, but they're short-term crops. Let's start with what is cashew. You see, cashew is a tree. Cashew is a tree that takes several years to grow. Yes, cashew takes several years to grow because first you have to nurse it, and it will take like 2-3 months while you are nursing it. And during the nursery, you have to take proper care of it at the nursery, and it's from the nursery that you move it to the bed. Why are we choosing cashew as retirement plan? That should be the first thing we should discuss. Now, cashew, in the recent, let me just discuss. Cashew nuts are an economic tree. Economic trees are trees that, they have high benefit, not only in the domestic market, but also in the foreign market. As in, when you talk of economic trees, you're talking of cashew, you're talking of palm tree, you're talking of teak, you are talking of teak, you are talking of palm tree, you are talking of cashew, you are talking of shea nut tree. Those are trees that they have economic value. So what are some of their economic value? I will just mention briefly the economic value of cashew and why cashew is highly demanded, why there's several demand for it before we move into the retirement plan of it. The first reason, the cashew nuts. The nut, cashew has several parts. There's the cashew apple. That shapes that look like, that fruit, that one that has liquid that we drink. That's called the cashew apple. Then the nut is that ash colored brownish one, look like heart shape on it. That is the nut. So now what happened is that it is the nut that is the most valuable part. What exactly are they doing with the nut? What they do with the nut is that the nut is used to produce biogas, not biogas, bio oil, as in they extract some liquid from that nut to produce some bio oil, and that is why it is highly demanded outside the country. Currently, of course, in Nigeria, we don't have that kind of processing for cashew nuts in Nigeria. So ultimately it is exports. Anybody that is picking their cashew nut is for export. Though some few, because cashew nut, we eat the nut. There's a way we smoke or burn it kind of, and then the nut, it becomes nut, just like groundnut, like the way you eat groundnut. So some of the nuts are processed in Nigeria, but the quantity of what is produced is small. The highest exporters of cashew nut is Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire is our neighboring country. It's an African country, followed by India and some other countries. In Nigeria, let me explain something. We discovered that cashew is one of the easiest things to plant, as in one of the easiest tree to plant. But it has its own challenges and its own difficulties. And when I say easiest, you only need the nuts. You are not going through the nursery class. You are not going to do the nursery or anything. You only need the nuts. But there's something. Now, I've told you why it is highly demanded. In Nigeria, we don't have processing for cashew. So if you plant your cashew tree, everything is going outside the country. Actually, I think I have a contact to one of the Cashew Exporters Association, and the overall whatever, just that I don't get involved with it. Now, why am I saying you should use cashew as a retirement plan? Unlike the news that people used to tell everybody, if you plant cashew, if you nurse your cashew, cashew is just like normal. You can plant it directly and you can nurse it. You can plant directly if you already know where you are planting, but it's advisable to nurse it. Why? When you nurse, you'll be able to take care of it in a place. You put it in a nursery bag and you nurse. Like for instance, if you nurse your cashew, you'll be able to give it water every morning. You'll be giving the cashew water every morning, so that when it grows, once it germinates after like a month, 2 months, then you move it to the feed. And on the feed, rainwater support it with it. You don't need irrigation for cashew. And that is why when we want to nurse those kind of thing, you start your nursing at the beginning of rainy season, so that you transplant to the feed when the rain is consistent, so that the rain will help you to grow your cashew nuts. to grow your cashew. You know, you are growing cashew tree now. It is a cashew tree that will not give you cashew nuts. But unlike the normal demands and everything, that happens, you find out that cashew nuts are of various types. Now, what am I saying? If you are planning something that you want to retire, and by the time you retire, maybe you will not be working again, and you need something that will be bringing you money every year. Cashew fruits only once in a year. The cashew season starts from December, January, February. Sometimes it extends to 3, 4, 5 months, and sometimes the month may be short, to be candid. So you can't just, but it starts, the seasons. Cashew start fruiting September, November, December. We start harvesting December. Though this year was not December, it's January, and we were complaining that this cashew took several times. Now, why am I proposing for people that are working? Because if you have a cashew farm, you can plant your nuts. It doesn't demand too much care from you, in the sense that you don't have to go to the farm every day. You only need to make sure your cashew is protected from maybe animals or whatever. We're still going to discuss about cattle and everything, the effect they have on when you are planting your cashew. But let's just explain it first. So why we recommend it for people that doesn't have time to stay on the farm, or people you have your land somewhere, instead of the land wasting away, instead of land not doing anything, just get some cashew nut, get the good quality cashew nut, because when you are supplying the cashew, when you are buying, people might not tell you, but when you are supplying, cashew also have grade and quality. The best grade is when there's something we call cashew counts. When you count cashew, you find out that if you're in 1 kg of cashew nuts, you have to count the number of nuts in a kg. If it's like 170, is one of the best cashew. If it's like 200, you have cashew nut 200 in 1 kg, is not one of the best. You really need to know all that even before selecting the seed for planting. You need to understand that before you start selecting the seed that you nurse or plant. Sometimes it's good to buy. There are 2 types of cashew. Now, why I'm proposing it to people that are planning their retirement. Once your cashew fruits, you harvest once in a year. Once is not just 1 day, as in through the period of fruiting, you'll be harvesting. Okay, you'll be going there maybe every 2 days to pick the nuts. And the nuts, see, now why is even easy again? You don't need to look for buyers for cashew nuts. No, you don't need to. You see middlemen, people, everybody moving around villages, roaming around, looking for where to source nuts. So wherever your farm is, the buyers will locate you. That is second advantage of it. I've mentioned the first advantage, that it doesn't stress you much. If you plant cashew, it doesn't stress you much. I'm not saying there's no challenges to it. I'm going to be discussing the challenges as we go. But if you plant cashew, it seems to be one of the easiest things to establish in farm. It's just that, that's one of the advantages. Then the second advantage is that the market is readily available. Every year, people are always looking for, the demand is always there. Though sometimes the price might be low. Okay, let me give you some price quotation. By this year, whatever price I give you is my locality price. And see, always calculate with this. Whatever price I give you in my locality is usually the lowest price you can ever get anywhere, because we are almost in the interior rural side. So whatever price I give you for anything, just budget it that, okay, I will get better depending on your nearness to city, to town and everything, because my area is a remote area. So you find out that so when you talk of these cashew nuts, you now discover that, okay, if you are you find out that you find out that if you are selling your cashew, so you have to, my price, sorry for the distraction, somebody's coming to greet me and I send her back anyway. So the cashew nut is kind of, my price is always, the price in my locality is always the lowest, because our distance to the city. Now, as of this year, there's a bowl they use in my area, and the bowl is about 9 to 10 kg. It depends on how you it, how the cashew stay. So let's just assume it's 10 kg. That bowl was selling this year for 3,000. Last year, the price went down, it sold for 2,000. But upper year, that same bowl was sold for 5,000, 6,000, even 7,000. Why am I telling you this? You see, there's no business that you are going into, so that you won't say, okay, in Kadeshola say, once I plant cashew, I've become a millionaire. No, but I'm just telling you, the price also fluctuates. We don't know what, you understand, but it's an export crop. So as I'm saying, when you plan your retirement against cashew, it is something you can gradually invest on. One, you get the seed and do the nut. First, you need to get the land. I don't know, maybe I'll discuss about land. Today, I just want to discuss about cashew. Then some other time, I might choose to discuss about land, as in discuss about the land, how to source land and every other thing, and where to get the cheapest or the most affordable land. Yes, these are what most people don't really know. I will get it across to you, but not today. I'm concentrating on cashew nut today. Just keep following me up. So you find out that when one, it won't stress you. Two, the market is readily available. And three, since it's just a season in a year that you harvest, you can choose to go and sit down there through that season in the year and watch your cashew being harvested, so that the fact of, okay, somebody is stealing my cashew will not occur. You know, the season of harvesting is from December to like February, March. So you have to keep on going there to pick your nuts, or you station somebody there to monitor it for you. So it's not all year round you have to be there. Now, in our discussion, there are two types of cashew. Now, what are the types? We have the local one, local variety. And we have, now there are two types. It's different from their different sizes. There are different sizes and there are two types. So I'm going to explain so that I don't get you confused. Now, there are two types of cashew in the sense that there's local variety and there's hybrid. The local variety is such cashew, is those ones we've been known, our grandfathers have been planting before. In the local variety, local variety, when you plant them, they start bringing you fruit. They don't bring you fruit. The nuts will not produce, the trees will not produce anything until 3 years. But the hybrid type can produce for you in 1 year. Then there's something we call economic value, don't forget. The fact that your local cashew is producing in 3 years doesn't mean you start making money in that 3 years. No. Your local cashew will have economic value. When I say economic value is when you are able to get more, when you are able to make more money from the nuts. So it's not that many people keep informing people, after 3 years, you start harvesting cashew. No, you will harvest after 3 years. But the quantity you are going to harvest is going to be very small. But the economic value, when you start making real money from it, when you can start quantifying what you are making from the cashew trees, is until 6th year for local breed. For the hybrid, for you to start making for you to start having economic value, is until 3 years. Now, let me still break this down again. If you plant the local breed, by the 3rd year, you will see nuts. You'll be able to harvest fruit. You will see nuts on your cashew. But what you will harvest may not even fill a handful, or it may not be up to 1 kg or half kg on a tree throughout all the harvest. The same thing if you plant hybrid, it will fruit in that 1 year, but what you will get in that 1 year will be will not be economic, as in, even if you say you are taking it to market, it's somehow. But by the 6th year, 6 to 7, 6, 7, 8 year, 5th, 6, 7, 8 year, depending on the local too, also have some different grades, some different varieties in the local, because some by 5 years you get good things, some by 7 years. So by the 6, 7 years for the local breed, that is when you start making economic value. So the same thing for the hybrid, by the 3rd year, that's when you start having economic value. So if you are the patience type, if you are the one that's, okay, let me gradually start building this thing, so that by the time I'm retiring from my work, or by the time I'm old, I won't have things to do again, then I can go back and I know something is there for me to be harvesting every year. At least once in a year, during that period, during that season, you have something to fall back on in agriculture. Let me tell you, there's a story. There's an elderly man here in my village here. That there's an elderly man in my village here that planted cashew. Then they don't even, initially they used to abuse them that it's lazy people that plant cashew nuts before. The man has a lot of cashew nuts. By the time he started harvesting and he makes money from it, the man just used the money to sponsor himself to Hajj, and he doesn't have any worry. All his children are grown ups and everything, and the man is enjoying himself. So once a year, he has bulk harvesting from the cashew, and he has money which he can gradually spend to take care of himself, even if the children are not minding him. So that's why I'm saying I'm proposing it for retiree, and I'm explaining to you. I'll be explaining the challenges, because there's no farm business. It's not as sweet or as interesting as that. Now we're talking of it. Now, if you plant that cashew nut, like I've told you the period to plant, you can't plant your cashew nut in November, October, or whatever. You need to raise your nursery to target rainy season, so that by the time you are transplanting the seedlings to the farm, to the feed, is the rain that will help you pull it up, that will help you grow it. In the first year, now you will need to be weeding your farm, to be weeding your cashew. There's something about it. If you allow weed to compete with the cashew, despite the fact that it's a rugged crop, if you allow weed to compete with it, the weed will kill it. Weed, yes, when it's still small and it's coming up, if you allow weed, or you didn't take care of the weed surrounding the nut, when it's coming, it's a very small tree, a small seedling, so must keep the surroundings neat and clean to keep weed away from it. Now in the dry season, you might be thinking, I can relax now, there's no weed on my cashew again. No. In the dry season, you don't want your cashew to get burned. So you still have to make the surroundings to be always neat and clean, even in dry season. Remember what happens in the rural side. You just find people throwing, what did I say? You just find people setting anywhere on fire. If you didn't clean, I remember this last season, I think I posted a fruiting cashew, some farmers' cashew, where somebody set on fire. So if there's no weed at all under your cashew tree, even if they set fire to undernet it will not catch the cashew. But if there's weed, as in you have to clean, when I say clean, as in grass will not be there, or else you just come one day and you find everything burnt. And see, even if it's a fruiting cashew, a big one, once it's burnt, it won't fruit that year. It will have to wait until the following year again. So you have to keep it away from fire. You have to keep it away from fire. You have to keep it away from weed during the rainy season. Now, I've explained the hybrid cashew and the one that is not hybrid, and then now maintaining the cashew nut. If you really want your cashew to fruit, or to hasten the fruiting of the cashew, during planting, when you do, on 1 acre of cashew, let's go to that calculation. On an acre, if you want to plant, if you have an acre land, you will need between 60 to, at 8 meter distance. There's something people do. Some people will, on 1 acre land, I don't know if I've explained the size of an acre on one of my videos here and everything. But if you don't know, you can ask me, then I explain. But I just don't want to be repeating myself. So, on an acre land, you need 60 to 63 cashew nuts to plant. Nut or seedling. I hope you understand the difference between nut or seedling. Nut is that thing we pull from the cashew apple. Seedling is when you've nursed it, it has germinated a bit. So it is the seedling you position where you want to put it, and put the seedling there. It's better to nurse cashew. It saves you stress of planting and checking and going through everything all the time. Now, on an acre of land, you need 60 cashew trees, 60 cashew seedlings. While on an hectare, you need 150, minimum of 150 cashew seedlings to plant on 1 acre. So when you are planning, you have an acre land, you know the calculation of the seedlings you'll be needing for your farm. When you are planting 1 hectare land, you know the calculation of the seedlings or the seed you'll be needing for your farm. Now, when you have this, the seed and the seedling, you have them on your farm, you now discover, if you want to plant, most local rural farmers, or not even rural farmers, most people they just dig the soil and throw the nut there. You need to assist the soil. I think one day we'll take a full day to discuss about the soil, the importance of soil in any of our planting. I've always preached it, but people don't really count it because they just believe just drop something. If the soil is rich in nutrients to support your cashew seedlings or planting, it hastens the rate of fruiting. It reduces the years by which you will start harvesting your nuts. Okay, let me put it this way again. If you put a seedling in a soil that is not really good, you put a seedling there, you find out the seedling will be struggling with water, with nutrients, with everything to survive. But if you put nutrients, you don't need to buy fertilizer. All you need, like we say, cattle dung or poultry waste. You need to add it. There's a way you need to add it to your plants, to the seedling underneath on the farm before you transplant your cashew or any tree you want to plant. Actually, you need to dig. See, when you dig the soil very well and you put enough manure, you understand, the roots, when the roots from the seedling that you transplant start to expand, the root will quickly formed because it has food to feed on. You can't compare a malnourished children or malnourished child to those that are well fed. The same thing with plants. So that will allow your plant to quickly grow. And instead of, I was saying at the first time, I said local seed or local seedling might take 6, 7, 8 years. But by assisting it with nutrients, it will reduce the number of years for you to start harvesting your fruits. The same thing with hybrid. By supporting and reducing the number of years, it will help you to increase the rate at which it will reduce the number of years for you to start harvesting your cashew fruits. Now, like I explained, on an acre you need 60 cashew nuts. On an hectare you need 150. But it's not that you just plant and leave it. Now, the challenge people will have is sourcing for land. But for those that have land already, you can establish this on your land. But like I said, you need to go there. Okay, when the cashew is still small, I told you need to plant at 8-meter distance. When your cashew is still small on the field, you can plant in between. You can plant some other crop. For instance, I have 1 acre. I want to establish cashew. I clear the land. I nurse my cashew nut, and I nurse my cashew nut. I can as well plant corn. I can even plant cassava. You know why? Because the cashew is still small and it's going to still take several years before it grows to that stage. So I can be using cassava and even maize or even ginger to grow my farm. The cashew will be developing. If it's the local breed, is until when the cashew is about 4 years, when you're about harvesting from it, that's when it will be forming shades. It will have be expanding its leaves, its shade, its branches, so that if you plant anything there, it will not, there will be sun will not, it will protect anything you are planting now. Will have challenges of access to sun. But that your first year, your second year, your third year, even your fourth year, you can be planting. If you plant cassava, you can plant cassava of 1.5 years or 2 years. You will harvest. Your cashew is growing. You can still repeat, still plant something else there. You still harvest that. Maybe it's on the second, third harvest that you won't be able to plant something inside the cashew farm again. And by then, your cashew will have been growing. So you find out in the rural side, virtually every farmer has a cashew farm. They use it to develop their farm, gradually. And with that, for people in the city, for people that don't really have time to stay on the farm, like I said, it doesn't take you staying 24 hours. It is when you now want to plant, all those other things inside, like the cassava and maize, that you can now start having issues. But with the cashew alone, what people do, they do guide for their cashew. Don't forget, we have S-men, and they will hit the cashew leaf. Yeah, as in they will destroy the cashew or even trample on it. So you can do guard. You know what I mean by guard? There's a way you make a cross of protection against each of your seedling of cashew, so that you know where the cashews are, and when anybody pass by, they can see where it is, and you keep guiding that area against fire outbreak, and all this stuff. Now, the challenge most people might have is that people will start saying, okay, 1 acre. See, you can't, I won't advise you to say, if you have land before, these things I'm saying is good for people that already have their land. Don't rush to go and buy 1 acre of land because you want to plant cashew. No, it is not advisable. Ask me why. Because if you rush and you buy 1 acre of land, the money you use to maintain clearing or the wahala and everything will not justify. I don't know if you understand. But if you already have your land, it simplifies things for you. You can establish your cashew. Now, for people that don't have their land, wherever area you are, I will explain something about farm to you. If you for plantations like cashew nuts and all those palm trees and everything, it is the larger it is, the lower your expenses. Yes. Okay, if you start your cashew farm, if you are using 1 acre of cashew farm, it means, like I was telling you, you have to protect it against fire and everything. You need somebody that will possibly be weeding it. You need somebody that will be keeping away. You understand what I mean? The same somebody that will look after your 1 acre cashew farm is capable enough, will be capable enough to look after your 20 cashew farm or your 10 acre cashew farm. You've reduced cost there. So that's why I'm not saying don't go and buy 1 acre and say you are planting cashew. Another thing you should consider is, if you really want to go into the cashew retirement business, look for area where there are other farmers that they have the same cashew nuts, or they are doing the same thing. Or look for partners. Let me put it, when I was saying something yesterday, if you watch my videos yesterday, you can get it on my timeline. We discussed about market, and right there people were contributing. We said, if collaborative effort is the way forward. Collaborative effort also is coming in here in Cashew Plantation. Just one man, don't rush, okay, I want to go and buy land. They will stress you, they will give you wahala and issue. But if in your area you collect people, you are 10, you are 20, and you go together, even you are 100. Let me give you one instance. If you are looking for 1 acre, 2 acre land, right now it's difficult to get. Even if you are looking for 10 acre land, it's difficult to get. I'll tell you why. Because most places where you have the 1 acre, 2 acre is close by. It's close to residential area. It's close to where people are already farming. But it is when you are looking for large expanse of land, you are looking for 50 acres, 100 acres, you will go interland, especially in the southwestern area. I know the south area don't have much of land. Yes, I know that one. But for southwestern area, it is when you go inside, that is when you can get large expanse of land. Now, it is not also advisable for you want to buy 1 acre of land. You now want to buy it inside one typical bush. You will not be able to go there. I went to check a farm recently somewhere. I went to consult for a farm. I went to check a farm. One of the acre of land there, I told the person that took me there, I said, the road is like, you see, your heart is in your hand. Only bike can pass through. Only, you see, and it's just 1 acre. It's not worth the stress. It's not. So if you are sourcing for land, if it's 1 acre, it's possibly going to be close to residential area or close to the city, close to where people are. You might not really enjoy it. So it is best if you have group, or groups that can now go interland, get 50 acres, get 100 acres, and then, or if you can afford. But staying close to city, to town is a big, I'm being sincere. And it is when you go interland that you can get land that is quite affordable. But once it's closer to where we are, like now, like in my community now, initially there used to be plenty land, plenty everything in my community. Now it's becoming a challenge because everybody is using their land. Everybody wants to do farming. But there are still some other, you see, our surrounding villages where they have land, and they're even looking for, come and use the land. And the land are quite affordable. But you see, I want to advise a 1 acre person or a 2 acre or 3 acre to go and get land, interland. you will be discouraged from going there because you look at the distance. But if it is a group, maybe a group of 10 people that are having 10 acres, you already have 100 acres, then you can go and open up the place and turn it to a city, and then you can have your cashew plantations there. And like I said, it depends on it's now if you have the place. Then when we talk of security, every one of us have been shouting, X-Men, X-Men, they are disturbing us, they are giving us issue. But if you have your land or your cashew farm in a group, when we talk of group, we are talking of group of 10, 50, you have 50 acres or 100 acres. Like in Ogun River Basin then, when some white guys came there, they were having a large expanse of land. You know what they did? They constructed a place for a security man to stay. So they have two security. I think, yes, one stay in the day, one stay at night. And they constructed maybe they call it something, a tower or whatever. So they sit down there. So from distance, from every angle, they see whoever is coming close to their farm. I remember some herdsmen went there. They put their cattle there. I don't know what happened, whether to one side of the farm. They caught them. And when the police were somehow, whatever, they shift the case somewhere else. There's something I'm understanding in Nigeria. If you are not in team, that, okay, for instance, if you have a case, the herdsman issued or whatever, if your farmlands you guys are in a large group, or you have a large group and you have enough fund to take the case up, they will never come to your farm again. I'm just being sincere with you. They also know, but they understand that, currently they understand that most farmers are, how do I call it? Most farmers are, they don't have the funds, they don't have the finance to follow up with their issues. I'm being sincere to some extent, yes. And that, okay, in my area, there are people that have large hectares of land. As men dare not go near them, the way they are terrorizing the local farmers. Because one, those people on their farm, they have 24 hours security. They know, and then they don't know, once the land mass is big, they don't know the caliber of people that owns it. Unlike, they will see, let me tell you something. If you come to the farm side, come to the rural side, mere seeing a farm setting, you will have known this one is a rural farmer. Oh, this one come from the city. Because, there's a way the rural farmer, you go to a rural farmer's farm, even the plantation farm. This one, I'm telling you that you need 16 seedlings to plant 1 acre. Rural farmer doesn't even know. They just scatter the cashew on the farm. One go this way, one go that way. It's not well arranged. But for somebody that comes from the city that want to farm, you should be able to do your calculation. You should be able to know what it involves. You should be able to know what is costing you, what you are spending to set up your farm. And you should be able to know, okay, I have on my farm, this is the tonnage of cashew nuts I'm harvesting per annum. Now, let's talk about the harvest. If you have your cashew nuts farm, for the first, like I said, first year, if you plant hybrid, you should expect harvest in 1 year, but it's not economic harvest. Economic harvest will not start until it won't have economic value until 3rd year. It means whatever you're harvesting in your 1st year, 2nd year is very small. Until 3rd, 4th year before you start getting bountiful harvest. Same thing go for people that plant local hybrid. If you plant local hybrid of cashew, don't expect anything until the 6th year. The cashew will start fruiting in the 3rd or 4th year. But you are not going to have the one that can go to the market that will fetch you good money until your 6th, 7th, 8th year. I know people always tell people, if you plant cashew by 3 years, it's not true. I'm telling you the real realization on the farm. So it is not, so that you understand what you are going in for. And for the 3 years, if you plant hybrid, for that 3 years, you need to be taking care of the crop. You don't just plant it and forget it there. You might come back and they've burned it. You might come back, cattle have finished eating it. So for that if you plant hybrid, you are going to take care of it for 1, 2, 3 years. Once it's established itself, to be candid, cattle are not tall enough to pluck your cashew. The herdsmen cattle, yes, they can't pluck. It's when it falls down that they start picking it. So when it's harvesting time, most farmers stays on their farm. So you go there to pick your cashew at all time to keep away herdsmen. Or if you have your 24-hour security, they won't go there. For those that are planting the local breed, you already know it's a long time thing. So once it has passed the stage, that smaller stage, the cattle cannot destroy. Okay, they cannot destroy the tree, but just that during harvesting, they pick the nuts, which you have to guide against. And you know, like I said, harvesting is just between 3 to 4 months in a year. It's usually start around December, January, February. By March, cashew season is already gone, and that's when you pick your nuts. Now, on your cashew farm, I was saying something that the local hybrids too, they have varieties, as in they have, oh my, they have variety. Cashew farm has variety. Like for instance, in the production region for cashew nuts are Oyo State, Ogun State, some region in the east. It's not actually every land or every place, every state that supports cashew, because the cashew nut need loamy loose soil. So it's some area are better, some area are good for the production of cashew than some other area. Oyo State, Ogun State, some part of the eastern part, yes. I think some part of Ekiti, I'm not too sure. To be candid, I'm not too sure. Yes, Ekiti. I think they produce cashew nut in my town in Ekiti. So those are places that are good for your cashew. So it's not just any soil too. It's choose some of the soil. One. Now, I told you, like in the whole of Oyo State, Ogbomosho nuts. See, there's something. The nut of cashew, if you are planting again, the nut of cashew determine your yield. There are some nuts, like I was saying when I started, there are some nuts that they are very big. It means when you plant a big nut, it means they easily fill up your bowls. Well, you know, cashew that are sold, okay, in the rural side, they buy cashew from us with bowls. There's a measurement bowl. But if you are the type that you really know what you have enough of it, you don't need to sell in bowls. You can sell your cashew nuts in kgs. Yes, in kilogram. There are now some warehouses. There's even a new warehouse close to me here. There are now warehouses. Instead of selling to the middlemen or whatever, you just use your vehicle, move your nuts to the warehouses, and you sell in kgs. Yes, you might even decide not to sell within my environment. I told you when I started, anything you are buying, any price I'm giving you in my locality, usually is the lowest price you can get almost anywhere, because my area is the dominant area producing anything you see me mentioning or telling you. So when you move outside my vicinity, you sell at a better price again. As in, like in Shaki is about 20-30 minute drive to my locality again. People in my locality, some sell within the farm, they just harvest and sell to middlemen. Some pay for transport, they move it to Shaki. In Shaki, there are white guys that comes around, they buy in kg. If you move from Shaki again, going outside towards Ibadan, you sell at higher price again. So it now depends on you to look for, okay, for instance, if I plant my vegetables and everything, I choose not to sell in my locality because I know you are getting the lowest price. So I choose to move it out to get a better price. So the same way I'm saying. So, but when you talk of cost of production, my locality or all these our interior, go to interior Ekiti, go to interior Osun. You know, I've said it. I know south doesn't have much land, but in the south, at least you can still get land for 100,000 per acre, for 150, 200, depending on how far they are to the road. As in, I know you can still get that in the hinterland. And like I said, if you want to do something like that, if you are looking for a large expand, you should go interland. You get better, good soil, good land. But like I said, you can't alone go there. See, I don't advise people to go and start clearing land and go with bulldozer. One, it's going to cost you more money. Two, you are going to be removing the topsoil. You know what we mean by the topsoil? See, I don't know how to explain this, maybe, but the topsoil is the most fertile soil because of the degradations and every other thing. They are the most fertile soil. So when you use bulldozer to clear a land that you want to plant, you already remove your first topsoil, your nutrients. And then the second layer, your crop or even your tree is not going to do very fine. So I don't always advise people to use bulldozer to clear. It means you are using manual, and if you are going to use manual to clear, it means you know with bulldozer everything you are doing, everything has got its advantages and disadvantages. If you are using bulldozer to clear, you can just put in the bulldozer there and clear within 1 week. You finish uprooting the trees. They move the trees to one side, and the land is cleared for using. That is good for people that want to build houses. But for somebody that want to farm, you actually need the nutrient. You don't need to go and start looking for fertilizers, NPKs 1515 and all this stuff. So I don't recommend bulldozers. What I know is hectic and is tiresome employing all these our local laborers and whatever. Just get all those foreigners, let them uproot the trees for you. Like I remember when I was clearing my farmland, I was paying, yes. So they uproot trees, as in they dig around the trees. There was a time I posted a video like that from the farm. They dig around the trees and remove it, or or sometimes they dig around it and then cut it, or sometimes they set it on fire, they burn the roots. But if with that, all the other areas are still preserved, the nutrient on the soil is preserved, and you don't need to even run around to look for any fertilizer, any NPK or any whatever, especially you don't need it. But the moment you use bulldozer, that the bulldozer, the mouth of the edge of that bulldozer, we have to go deep to the depth of where the root of the tree is, and then they will move all the topsoil at that depth to be able to move the tree. In that process, they've removed all your fertile soil, the nutrients. They are moving it to somewhere else, and you find out for years you cannot wake up that soil again. You cannot to us farmers, we feel that soil is dead. So for years you won't be able to bring it back to life again, and you will just be spending millions on fertilizer, on NPK, on whatever. So I don't really advise, I encourage people to use bulldozers. Yes, I'm sorry, I don't encourage people to use that for that reason. But like I said, it has its advantages and also disadvantages. So like we are still talking about cashew nut. I've told you the challenges you are going to encounter there. The challenges is in possibility you have to keep maintaining or spending money on the land for the next 3 years, or if you are using hybrid, or for the next 6 years if you are using the local variety of seeds. But like I said, the market is available. But put it in mind, price fluctuates, but there will always be market for it. Now, for some people that want to add value to it, the other time I was reading that cashew nuts, the nuts, when I remember when I was in primary school, and they would go then to climb trees to get to pluck cashew. Then some of our classmates, they will start smoking, or on one soon they will say they will burn the cashew nuts. It bring out one acidic water, which is not good. They burn the cashew nuts, and they burn the shell, and they bring the nuts out. Now where I'm reading, but please read more on it, I just got to know that the nuts reduces, it helps diabetic patients, as in the cashew nut, just like the way you eat groundnuts, the nuts inside cashew. And I know in Nigeria too, it sells very well. But to be candid, go to all these other shops, you will see imported cashew nuts. That's what we buy in bottles. Yes, imported ones. Though they are advantage, because I see on roadside too, if you are traveling, you see all these boys in Lagos that run around with nuts and everything. But the quality are quite different. But I know cashew nut the processed one also sell in Nigeria. But for a farmer, I first said, when you are a farmer, if you start with planting, there's no way you are planting small quantity. So if you are diversifying into processing, then you still need to do your own work there. Is an entire next, and is a new field on its own. As in, okay, I want to be processing cashew nuts and I want to be marketing it. It means you have to get the processing machine, you have to get your workers that will do it, and it's another work on its own. But for people, like I said, why I started this topic was for people that are looking for what to retire on. I see a lot of people, they have land. After buying the land, some of them want to plant tomatoes. They want to plant cucumber like I'm planting. They want to plant this thing like I'm planting. But honestly, I'm going to be sincere with you. Management, human resources is a big problem in Nigeria. When I say human resources is a big problem, is okay. Even if you get farm managers and you get a dedicated farm manager, farm laborer is another thing. But with cashew, it's your work is minimized. Let me explain something again with cashew. Apart from the security challenges that we are currently facing, what you don't need to have other permanent staff for your cashew farm. You only need to, okay, when it's time to weed, you can employ laborers outside. Okay, they weed it for you maybe once in a month or once in 2 months. You know what I mean? But the only permanent staff you might need to have there is your security man. I told you, because of one, setting it on fire and the herdsmen and whatever. The only time you will now need other workers is when you are planting. Okay, like I told you, you can use cassava to grow your cashew. It means when you plant that cashew and in that first year too, you plant cassava. After 1.5 years, you will harvest your cassava and sell. You can use the money for the maintenance of your cashew for that second year. You can decide to plant corn inside your cashew farm. You can also, which you will harvest and sell again. It will reduce the cost of running the cashew farm. You can plant ginger. I think I'm going to set up a topic on ginger. Because people don't know what ginger is. A very good crop to plant. Though it is not ginger is an economic crop, but it's a yearly something. I will discuss it some other time anyway. But you can use ginger to grow your cashew, as in you plant ginger inside your cashew farm. After 1 year, you know something about ginger. If you can establish ginger once on your farm, as in I go to the market, I got the ginger seed, I plow my land, after planting your cashew, you planted ginger and the ginger grew. When you harvest that ginger that first year, by next year you don't need to replant it again. It will grow back by itself. The challenge you will have, however, so for the next 2-3 years, your ginger will be regrowing and you'll be harvesting to sell. But the problem you will have, when you don't want the ginger again, you have to dig deep to uproot the ginger from your farm. I'm talking from experience. Actually, if not, ginger is a very good crop to grow your cash crop, as in if you are planting cashew or palm plantation or anything. Once you establish ginger 1 year, why? Because it's a very stubborn crop. So by the time you establish it, it will be difficult. You harvest this year, it will still have remnants inside there. So it is that remnant, once it still rain water again, it sprouts up. So if you use ginger to grow your cashew, you are assured of harvesting ginger every year. But like I said, the challenge we have now is when, as your cashew grow, it will get to a point, it doesn't want the ginger again. Because not even that it doesn't want, something is occurring to me. By the time your cashew is growing, it starts forming shade. It starts spreading its branches to form shade. Because if you plant at 8 meter distance, there's possibility that they will stretch 3 meter, 3.5 meter, 4 meter to eventually touch each other, so that underneath your cashew tree will now be shade. We have so many of such cashew trees in my village here. Not even plantations. We have several cashew plantations. Maybe, let me see, one of these days, I can just throw there, get a video. I can't do live video there because there's no network in most of our farms, but I can get the videos of the cashew plantation for you. You see, it forms shade that the cashew nut, the cashew from this side will be touching this one, the other will be touching each other, and then underneath them, nothing will be able to grow again. I think maybe that one will possibly kill the ginger. I think that will possibly kill, as in destroy the ginger. But I'm telling you, because I planted ginger, I was thinking I was experimenting actually. So I planted ginger on some part of my farm. It took me several years to uproot it. Yes. Okay, why did I uproot it there? I told you I'm not discussing ginger, but I just need to mention this. I discovered that the ginger, I got to Agua Amodu and I saw a ginger and I love it. I harvested from a farm. That farm, the people that planted, I don't even know if they planted the ginger on that farm. The ginger has been there for like 20, 30 years. It grows every year, despite that they are cultivating that land. So when I got to know, I took my student there, we harvested some, we established it on my home farm. It was later I discovered that the ginger I planted was not the exportable ginger. Yes, there are, you see, so there is a bitter ginger and there's a sweeter one that is not, there's one, the one, it was a bitter one. So I was forced to remove them. I don't want it again. So it took me years to get it off. Each time I uproot and plant something there, the ginger will come up again. Even as I'm talking to you now, if rain come, I still have the ginger on my farm. The one of, and I'm talking of 2017. I think my student in 2016 student was the one I took to that farm that we planted it together. And up to now, we still have some remnant of it, despite that I've been uprooting it. So I'm just telling you about ginger. And sorry, I'm not moving away from cashew. We're just reasoning how you can establish your cashew farm. So the only worker you need permanently there, to be candid, is your security man. If you can manage your farm yourself, there's nothing bad in, okay, when you are going, you look for laborers that will come and they come there, they weed under your cashew, or they take, you understand? And just like ginger I was explaining, if you plant ginger, apart from the first set of weeding and everything, by the time ginger also establishes itself, you won't have anything to weed again on the farm. So like I said, it's only your security because of the security challenges we're having now. So I want to ask you to plant and not find security there. It's something you have to plan along with your farm. And like I said, you can plant with ginger, you can grow your cashew with ginger, you can grow your cashew with cassava, you can grow with corn, depending on your life. And if you know cocoa farmers, if you understand how cocoa works, people they use because cocoa takes years too, it's a tree. So they use plantain to grow cocoa. Plantain is 9 months, 12 months. So when you plant cocoa, you now plant plantain inside it. After every 9 months, you'll be harvesting the plantain. When plantain produce, you cut that. Once you cut the fruit, you cut that off, but it will have produced another suckers. So you replant the other suckers again. You understand? So that is the way they use plantain to grow cocoa in Ondo State, in Ekiti State, where I come from. So you use plantain to develop your cocoa farm, and eventually after years your cocoa farm will also form shade. It won't allow anything to grow inside it again, and by then you'll be harvesting your cocoa. And just like cashew and whatever, cocoa also is an economic tree, but cocoa choose land even more than cashew nuts. Cocoa prefer a savanna area. That is, if you're in Osun State, we have different climates. You really need to understand them even when you are buying your land. So cocoa also choose the land where they survive. So that's why you can only find them in Ondo, Ekiti, and some part of Osun State. You can't find cocoa in Oyo State. Maybe some part of, I don't know. But cocoa doesn't do well in Oyo State, because Oyo State almost share climate with some parts of north. I schooled in the north, and I know when you are talking of starting from Oyo State edge, especially the Okeogun edge, we are sharing the same sunlight, going through to Ilorin, passing there, going through Minna, and all this, going through all that side of Kwara State, or going to Niger State. We share almost the same climate. So cocoa or whatever doesn't survive in all those other climate, but cashew is a good deal in Oyo, Ogun, some part of Ogun State. So for this afternoon, like I said, I'm discussing cashew nut as a retirement plan for people that are working class people. Like I said, Cote d'Ivoire is the highest exporter of cashew nuts, followed by India. Nigeria is even nowhere near the figures. And you see, I see people, instead of you struggling to plant corn for 3 months and spending so much money, instead of you and be repeating it every year, instead of you planting cassava and like I said, you can plant your cashew. It's gradually developed, so it will get to a point like after 6 years or 7 years, after like 4 or 5 years, you won't be able to plant inside the cashew again, because the branch will have expanded. But by then you are almost nearing when you will harvesting something. But like I said, you need to guide against S-men, and you need to guide against
fire taking over the cashew farm. And because of that's why I proposed the only major staff you need on your farm. Before establishing, you need people to establish it. You need to get the nut. You either buy the seedlings. Yeah, there are people that sell the seedlings. They sell the hybrid seedling. I remember some years I helped some people to purchase the hybrid seedling for cashew, for orange, for maybe some other time I'll be talking about some other cash crops too, some things you can plant that will give you, that you don't need to be on the farm. Like we, the vegetable farmers, you're on the farm 24 hours, and that doesn't guarantee you a good price in the market. So if you know you can gradually develop that for your retirement plan. If you have your land already, it's a good thing for you. Just right now, I will advise, because we are already entering rainy season, for people that don't rush to do this. Take your time, plan it. For instance, as I'm saying it now, some people might be saying, I want to quickly go and plant cashew. No, please don't rush. You need to first look for the best variety that will generate better fund for you, since it's a long-term project. 2, you also need to decide, okay, how many acres am I going to use? If you have your land already, it's very good and perfect for you. Instead of allowing the land is there, nobody is doing anything, it's wasting away or is whatever, you can put that there. And it will gradually, you know what I mean, you at least you know. And eventually, because I was asking a farmer in my place, I said, now that every one of you are turning everywhere to cashew farm, what will happen if the price go down? He said, if the price go down, they will cut it off again and plant what the price can bring. But by then they will have made money from there. And honestly, that is what they call. See, if today somebody in Nigeria starts that cashew processing factory, the price will go up. But the fact is that for now, we are not even talking that. I don't ask people to do, but that's another investment somebody can look at. Yearly, cashew nuts that go out of Nigeria is in billions of naira. Meanwhile, where they are taking them to, they process them and bring them back to Nigeria. But we are not here this afternoon to blame anybody or to blame any government. I've decided to do all this video, maybe if I have time every afternoon, to enlighten people more. I'm not farming for you. I'm not going to do anything for you, because it doesn't work. Now, the challenges I didn't mention. Don't forget, if you decide to plant your cashew by yourself, possibilities that they might not germinate. You know that. So factor that in, because it looks as if I'm saying everything is looking so smooth. But it's not like that when you get to the farm. There's possibility that they might not germinate. You might plant some cashew, if not properly taken care of, termites might eat them up even while they are growing up. Yes, termite. And sometimes people use pesticide to spray. They might mistakenly, I don't know if herbicide to kill your, they might use herbicide to spray, and they mistakenly kill some of the plants, even the germinating one. So until when your cashew is developed, that's when you know, okay, yes, it's good now. Even if fire burn it means that year you're not going to harvest, but you will harvest the following year. So with this, I think if you have question, you can drop the question. I will respond to them. Even after the video, I will respond to any questions that comes about it. You can put it on the comment section. I will respond to the questions, and then maybe, I think I've tried for this afternoon. If you have a question now, maybe some 10 minutes or 10 minutes or so, I can attend to some of the questions. But if there's no question, I will just say thank you for joining me again this afternoon. Then we'll look at the topic we discuss tomorrow as God's list now. So, and thank you for watching. And like I said, you can join me on my YouTube page, Adeshola Yinka. My name doesn't change anywhere, where I intend to be posting some other videos and every other thing. We are all highly welcome. So that's what. So for the cashew, you can really think about it. It's not only cashew that is an economic crop. There's cocoa, there's palm tree, there's other ones like I just mentioned about ginger. Ginger is something you plant once and you keep harvesting for years, because it keeps regenerating itself. Yes, thank you, sis. It keeps regenerating itself over time. Yes, you should look at ginger if you have your own permanent. Meanwhile, let me say something before I leave. You can't plant cashew on somebody's land. You cannot rent land to plant cashew. Nobody will allow you to do that. It has to be your own permanent land. When you plant the cashew can be there for the next 20-30 years. I know in some area in Oyo State, I know some area in Oyo State where they lease land for 99 years. Yes, you pay them and they lease the land for you. Yes, you can lease those ones. Then government don't allow people to plant cashew on their land, like all these river basins. They have plenty land, but they won't allow you to plant cashew on the land because they know it's a long-term something. It can take 30. What am I saying? Cashew is forever, except it gets burned or it gets cut off or whatever. It is a very long time. So they won't. So your cashew has to be on your home permanent land, something you've acquired or something, And like I said, consider security. Go near where people are into the same thing, and so that you can. Okay, I have a question here. Somebody said, what is the estimated yield per acre or hectare of land? See, if you, depending on the yield, the hybrid produce more than the local breed. We all know the essence of hybrid, because even if you are buying the seedling of hybrid is expensive than the local breed. So if you are on an acre, you should, on an acre, I'm coming to that question. On an acre of land, you should get at least, and anything for hybrid, you are looking at like 800 to 1000 kg per acre. Now let me do the calculation for you. 1000 kg is 1 tons, so you are looking at 1 tons per acre for hybrid. It could be more, yes. I always like to go average. It could be more. For the local, you are looking at between 400, 500, 600. And like I said, your yield also determine on an acre. Look at, just see, put your mind that, let's say you are getting 800 kg or 1000 kg, which is 1 ton per acre. You could get more than that, but please, it's good to have a, how do I say, it's good to have an average something, so that you won't get disappointed at the end of the day. And the essence of it, let me give it to you. In my locality, a 10 kg last year, a 10 kg bowl, that bowl they were using, I told you they don't buy in kilo in my place, is in bowl. They had their 10 kg, 9 kg bowl last year, and this year was selling for 3,000, 4,000. If you have 1 ton, that's about 400,000 per acre, and then you could have more than that. Farmers here don't measure it. All these ones I'm giving you are estimation. Yes, you could get that, but they just tell you, Aboba Ilari, we got this size of bowl this year from what they have, and they did not arrange their farm into acres or hectares or whatever. It's just, okay, origimewa, we from 10 trees we got this bowl. They don't arrange it. Hello, so if you are back with me, I have network issue. I have to move out of the house, because my locality, that's what we survive here. So there's a question I quickly answer before I leave. I've seen a cashew tree that doesn't fruit. What could be the cause? Okay, the cashew that doesn't fruit, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what could cause it. It could be anything, but I don't know. Now, how about the Wambugu apples? And another question, how about what's the prospect in Nigeria? Can our climate really support it as people claim? The one apple, yes, I learned. See, this is what I understand from apple. Yes, there's a tropical apple. There's an apple made for the tropics, and there's an apple made for the temperate region. What do I mean by tropic and temperate region? Tropic regions is our hot zones, as in Nigeria, we have hot climate. Not all Nigerians have hot zones. We have hot climates and every other thing. And then temperate region, like I said, in the Jaws area is a temperate region. So you need to look for apple. I believe it can grow. I've not experimented with it, but I believe if you get the same variety you should get variety that they recommended for tropical area, and get the variety that they recommended for temperate area, and plant it in the area where it is recommended. That is when you can say yes, it's grow. I've not experimented with it. Then there's another one again, so that's the way you can say, okay, it works with it. Like the Wambugu apple you are talking about is from Kenya. There's a man, I think Kenya or which other country, there's a man called Wambugu that went to bring it and propagate it, and then from there people start saying it can grow. But don't forget, Kenya has just almost similar, not really similar to Nigeria, but somehow similar. Kenya has a temperate region where they even have, just like, they have a temperate region and they also have a tropical region. So you have to be sure when you are going for apple, which specific area. Though there was a time, there's a guy in one somewhere in Nigeria here. I tried following him up. We tried asking him. He said he's experimenting with him, but it's kind of secretive. Maybe we want to snatch his project, so he doesn't reply. So I stopped following him because he won't even respond to you. So I don't know. I've not experimented with Apple, to be candid. I have not, so I wouldn't know anything about that. So can our climate really support it? I think it should. If you get the temperate apple, or get the one that is for tropical, depending on the area where you are, I think they should, if one experiment with it. So thank you. Before if there's no question again, I'll just say let's have a good Sunday, because before my network